Hello and welcome back to the channel here today. It's Andy here and welcome back to the final part of the Indy 500 month. The month of May is coming to a close. The great race has been raced and is finished now, and you are looking at the road going version of the victory car. Okay, yes, it's not in its normal aero spec that we see nowadays because they have changed it since this car was brought out and put into this game on Project Cars 2, but you are looking at the Dallara IR12 or the DW12 as it is actually known as, and it is the Team Penske number 22 Menards car in the road course specification under the basic aero kit as well. And this of course is the car that Simon Pagenaud drives. It's the 2016 version as well, so this is actually the car, if I remember rightly, that took him to the IndyCar Championship in 2016. I'm sure it's 2016 he won it, but we're using this car today because of course the Frenchman won the great race, 103rd running of the Indy 500 there on Sunday, holding off Alexander Rossi and Takuma Sato onto the final lap to take victory at the 500. That means he's clean swept the month of May, because obviously he won on the road course as well, so he's won both rounds this season. So a really good month for Simon Pagenaud, and I will say, if you don't already, follow his Twitter account because some of the stuff on there is brilliant. But more about the DW12, and obviously the first part is the meaning of the word DW. Now, most people will know what that means, but if you don't, it stands for Dan Wheldon. Dan Wheldon was a British driver. He was a two-time Indy 500 champion as well. And before they put the old car out to pasture, which was also a Dallara, the Dallara IR05 that had been racing since 2005, that took us up to the end of the 2011 season, which Dan won his second 500 in. He wasn't full-time that season. He was helping Dallara to test this car for the 2012 season, and if I remember correctly, he'd signed a deal up as well to rejoin Andretti Racing for 2012 as well. And well, we got to the final round at Las Vegas with 34 cars on a 1.5 mile oval, and one of the biggest accidents in motorsport history happened. 14 cars, multiple cars into the air. The famous shot is actually of Will Power's Penske number 12 flying through the air, but Dan was in the race and there was a special prize up for grabs. I think it was $1.5 million for if Dan was to win from the back of the grid, that he would share with a fan, because he had, as a one-off. And well, his car got launched into the air and unfortunately it landed driver side into the catch fencing, and well, unfortunately Dan lost his life in that race, but his legacy lived on because this car was what he was testing. And although it was designed to take multiple aero kits from Honda and Chevrolet, that was put off at first, and it was a standardised kit. But if you look on the back, you can see the sort of bumpers over the rear wheel. They were there to try and stop cars launching over each other. Exactly what happened in the accident that took Dan's life. Both, Chevrolet and Honda obviously powering it, V6 engines, putting out around somewhere between 550, 650 horsepower, depending on the configuration of the car. There was an oval version as well of this car, and it's still in existence now. They've got rid of the aero kits. It's now back to a standardised kit that they've trimmed out to try and make the racing a lot closer, and it has certainly made IndyCar a lot safer. They are obviously about to bring in the aero kit, the aero screen, along with, in conjunction with Red Bull in a few years' time as well, possibly for next season actually. They announced it over Indy weekend. So they're still developing forward, and they expect to still use this car for another couple of seasons yet. And it was brought in to try and bring down costs as well. Cost of IndyCars, although it was older chassis, the way that people were using them were just starting to creep up a bit. So it was to keep costs down so that the teams didn't get, put out too much. And it's brought some great racing. IndyCar has got some phenomenal racing. The mix of permanent road course, street course and oval racing is unique in World Motorsport, in my opinion. I know that NASCAR go to some road courses, but they're predominantly ovals. You see this car and its multiple aero kits going street circuits round St. Petersburg, round Long Beach, the Indy Speedway, Pocono, and then short 1.5 mile tracks like Kansas and Chicago. I've been to Milwaukee as well, which was a 1 mile flat oval. So just so much that this car does, and it's so diverse and doesn't quite get as much recognition sometimes globally as it should do. But what we're doing today is the usual. We're going to take this beast with its Chevrolet engine in the road course configuration around the Nordschleife, and this is probably going to be a very quick lap because the downforce in this car is absolutely phenomenal. It's really, really fun to drive, so let's get out onto the track. So here we are then, back on the Nordschleife with the DW12 Dallara Chevrolet engine in the back. It's in the road course specifications, so it's pushing out the top end around about 650. In the game it says it's 750 horsepower, so you know, I'll take it. Happy days. We've got 10 push to passes as well, which gives us an extra boost for a period of time. I think it's something like 15 seconds or so. So we've got 10 of them to use. I'm going to try and use them at the faster part of the tracks as much as I can do, and especially obviously towards the end of the lap. A couple of changes I've had to do with the road course car. I've had to trim some of the downforce out. Obviously change the steering ratio to suit my specifications, my likes, and I've had to make the last few gears 4, 5 and 6 a little bit longer, just to try and avoid hitting the rev limiter too soon. So fingers crossed we can have a good lap, because I was trying this the other day and it took me far too many attempts. But anyway, up to the final corners we come. Going to take it nice and easy through here, gently on the brakes because it'll be cold as anything right now, and up to the line we go, and across the line and into turn number 1, and down the hill we go towards Hassenbach, and you can just keep it absolutely pinned to the floor. No need to lift and drift our way through like we did with the Lotus and the Watson Roadster, and we can just really throw the car into these corners through here. Just so much grip in this thing, it's incredible. Bit wide there as I just pushed too much, and get it in here on the push to pass early, because we're coming up to the flood plats and I want to get as much speed as I can heading up here. See the nose starting to rise, but completely flat out through the kink. I'm going to let that push to pass just disappear, because now we've got the downhill, so hitting 180, it's going to drift off to about 170 odds here, flat out through the little left-hander, nice and easy, hard on the brakes, down to second gear, get it turned in. It's going to match the throttle on the way out, get on the power early, and down through the valley we go. Already up to 6th gear, pulling 160 plus easily. You're going to see the car struggle its way up the hill here though. And a wee sec, look at how much speed is just knocked off as you come up that hill. A little bit of a tank slapper on the way through there, just trying to catch us out and completely making an absolute hash of that left-hander. It was about so far wide I ended up in the Zolder circuit in Belgium, I think. Anyway, we managed to carry on through sector 1, up to 6th gear. You should be able to keep this flat. I have to lift just a little bit. Down to 3rd, I'm going to drop it to 2nd to try and get in the power. And just again, just getting a bit strung out on the power early. The great thing about this car is you can really get in the power early in a lot of places, although some corners won't take it. But watch this, this is phenomenal. Pinned to the floor, absolutely flat out. And then down at this tricky section, down to 1st gear, quickly up to 2nd to avoid wheel spin, up to 3rd and 4th already. We're coming up towards the back end of the track now. I'm just going to throw it in, get on the power. I'm going to keep it in 3rd up here, a little lift, a little brake. I'm going to use push to pass here as we come up to Bergwick. Up to 5th gear we go, and into 6th through the kink. We've got a little bit of a breather into this corner. It's turned in far too early there, but we've still got to push to pass now. We've got the long run up the hill, and we're going to use another push to pass as soon as it resets itself here in a second. There we go, back on push to pass. So that's just used about 3 or 4 already now. And we're just coming up the hill here. The car's just struggling a little bit as usual. It's not quite got the grunt. Still hitting 170 though as we come up towards the left-hander here, and we can just go absolutely flat out through here, trying to minimise the steering angle to take as much speed as possible. Same through the right-hander, looking for the curb on the left-hand side. That's the braking point. Down the gears into second, hug the apex, slam on the throttle one more time. Up towards the carousel we go. We can take it. Normally in a single-seater you can't, but we can because this is a game, and I felt it's actually a wee bit quicker, to be perfectly honest. And now we're coming up to that tricky section that I usually make mistakes at, so I'm hoping so I nearly make one right there and say not to make a mistake. I don't make any. Down to third gear for this first part, just get it thrown in. Missed the apex completely, but managed to get away with it. Dab of the brakes down to fourth. Far too much curb on the right hand side. Use it on the left and the right there, keep it through, and then just lift our way through here, up and over the top, down to third gear. Lock of the brake on the inside as the weight just drifts off, and then just use the curb on the outside up towards YouTube corner, throw it in. Oh, completely make a mess of that. Not the first time I've made a mess yet, but we're not in the barrier at least. That's a good start. I'm going to use a push to pass down here. Jumped up to fourth gear a bit too quickly, ended up double shifting there. Down the hill, into third, back up to fourth. Didn't actually need to go down to third there. And then now we're coming down this really fast section. Oh, nearly ended up in the wall. We're going to use push to pass pretty much now for the rest of the lap. No respite for it. I'm going to drop it down to third just to help with the turn in. A bit wide. Into the second carousel, somehow managed to catch it all. I don't know how I've done that. Unbelievable. We're going to try and carry as much speed as we can through this final section here. Back on push to pass because it's back available to us, and up towards the big long straight. Now we can see how far we can get up through this the speed here with the gearing. But what a car! This car is absolutely brilliant to drive. Give it a go. Just And what's actually quite interesting is actually looking at the time, 5:15 as we come up to here. When I was doing some of my previous practices, which I made an absolute pig's ear of, I was about 5 minutes 30, so I found about 12 to 15 seconds. So yeah, I'll take that as a victory. Just need to make sure we don't mess up at the final corner here. Going to try and be as late as I dare, because we've got the downforce and the braking power to help us. Into the final couple of corners we go. Miss that bit of curb in there. Oh, nearly turned in far too early. Push to pass and power across the line we go. What's the time? It's a 5:44.0 as I end up in the wall, but you can hear him out of breath, but that was brilliant. Absolutely loved that lap. Really enjoyable. And 5:44, I don't know if that's the quickest time. I'm going to need to check that one, obviously, but the other lap times will be below in the description. But yeah, that brings us to the end of Indy 500 month. The month of May is now over. Congratulations to Team Penske on yet another victory at the Brickyard, and to Simon Pagenaud, who has taken a clean sweep of both the Grand Prix and the Indy 500 this year as well. And if you've not followed Pagenaud on Twitter, do it, because he's absolutely brilliant as the 2016 champ. So give him a follow if you have, because some of his Twitter posts are brilliant. But that is it. Now next time we are now into the month of June coming up, which means one thing: 15th of June's the Le Mans 24 hours, and that means that we're going to have Le Mans month, taking a few classic Le Mans winners and cars around this fearsome track. And the first one is an iconic Le Mans winner and also an iconic road car as well. It is the Ford GT40. Now don't worry, we will have the Ferrari 330. That will be in July in Ferrari month, so there'll be a bit of crossover between the two. We're going to have the GT40 next week. Do join us for that as we start off Le Mans month. But that is it. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe, like, comment, and hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I go live. My name is Andy. As always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you again soon. Ta-da.